on the book every event of the year because I had to pick something for January 1st, which is Polar Plunge Day. And I'm going to show it won't go waiting to take the plunge. Living in Chicago, I had heard of the Polar Plunge, an insane idea to jump in the Lake Michigan at around Christmas or New Year's when there's a ton of ice floating. And you might end up floating too if you get out of that water, ice cold water, quick enough. This polar plunge has existed for a century in many countries globally. Some would do it for charity, but I thought, how silly. I'm not one of those people that wants to just show off my manhood by jumping into a bunch of water. So I always refrained from this idea, even when the new Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel chose to do it. I chose to avoid this ritual. I can take the cold, but I really don't comprehend why people are what they're trying to actually prove. So I acted passive and aloof, like I was above such childish behavior. But one thing happened to me that made me change my mind. I happened to be visiting a continent I thought I'd never visit to photograph icebergs, glaciers, and wildlife I'd never seen in Antarctica. And that's when they suggested to me that I could take the polar plunge there into the Southern Ocean. And oddly enough, I had a swimsuit on this trip, even though the temperature was only minus 2.8 degrees Celsius or 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I want to tell you, this trip was amazing, taking small rubber boats to one tiny island after another. First we crossed the choppy Drake Passage, then we went to Half Moon Island, passing icebergs to see penguins in their natural habitat. And yeah, that's cool, but what about my polar plunge, this jumping into the Southern Ocean? Oh, stop your complaining. You'll have to just wait, because then we're going to go to Cooverville Island, because here you can see both chinstrap and gentoo penguins. And I thought, well, yeah, sure, that's double plus cool. And so I took my pictures with my waterproof camera and waited. After leaving there, I thought, okay, where's my polar plunge? And then they said, hey, let's first check out the Weddell seals here at Enterprise Island. So I thought, sure, I can do that, but the ice structures here are absolutely amazing. Each island has different icebergs and glaciers because of the winds and the global water passages. But at this point, I really just thought that I'd waited long enough for my polar plunge, and that's when they decided to take me to mainland Antarctica, which really is the ultimate reason we're going, no? So while waiting there, I went camping one night, which was freezing, miserably, by the way. But if you're going to actually be docking at Paradise Highland to mainland Antarctica, you think, well, the least you can do is actually sleep on Antarctica, even if your sleeping bag's too small and you're going to shiver your way all through the night. And then even an avalanche actually fell 150 yards away at 2:20 in the morning, dumping more ice into the ocean, but not quite enough ice to block our escape. Once you warm up, I think, okay, isn't it time for my polar plunge? But that's when the captain of the ship decided to angle the boat toward the first humpback whales of the season. All right, this is great, but these people keep trying to show me the one cool thing after another in the distance, and they're just trying to distract me from nearly my one chance for this polar plunge. And that's when they say, hey, let's go to Danco Harbor first, where we can see all the gentoo penguins as they're jumping into the ocean. And I think, wait a minute, I should be jumping into that ocean. But okay, fine, I'll go there. We dock at Danco Harbor, and that's when they say, just go up that mountain and see the penguins. So I take my first step in a coat and rubber pants and rubber boots, 3 more layers, and then on my second step, I sink 3 feet into the snow. I work to get my foot out of this water, and then 2 steps away, I sink 3 feet again. After digging myself out 40 times after only 20 feet, I said, no, that's it. I am stopping. I am not fighting this mountain to see these penguins. So instead I waddled over toward the shoreline of the Southern Ocean that I could see, and I just sat there and I waited for all these penguins to just come over to me. And they did, as I sat there for hours photographing one Gen 2 penguin after another diving into the ocean. Okay, this is great, but I can't take it anymore. I've waited long enough. It's my turn. And so that's when I finally relented and said, okay, we're docked, so I can get ready for doing something I never thought I would actually want to do in the first place when I lived up north. But this was different, kind of like camping here, which was miserable, but it was something I just had to do. So because the water could be too cold, it would actually shock my system, they strapped a harness around me, and then I waited. When it was finally my turn, one of the crewmates for the photo acted like they were pushing me in. Well, of course they didn't, but when I finally got into that frigid cold water, all I could think was that it was surprisingly warm. It didn't feel cold at all. But I know that's my body tricking my mind to get myself off of the subject, so I wouldn't be subjecting myself to something like this, something so ludicrously cold, as I opened my eyes into salt water and looked up to try to move toward the light again. I always thought the Polar Plunge was a senseless idea and way too over the top. But when I'm at the end of the earth, I'll gladly wait to do something that insane. Actually, when you're down there, that's the only thing I could ever think to do. Crazy time.